Hello, welcome to Spirit Cocktails. I'm your host, Peter. Today we're doing a special episode. If you notice, there's no alcohol, there's nothing up here. Because we're making the cocktail on the fly. I'm going to show you how I go about making the cocktail. This is actually going to be a Dragon Ball Z style cocktail, which I did not design this ahead of time. It's just made completely from scratch. And I'm going to show you how to build this Dragon Ball Z cocktail. Now, when I build cocktails, the main thing I have is 3 key points. You have your main theme, your sub theme, then your storyline. Storyline has to be in every cocktail I make, because every cocktail you see a name for it, you want to know why is it called that, what makes that drink why it's called. So now when you have those 3 main aspects, you want to think of how to build upon it. Now, since I'm making a Dragon Ball cocktail, one of the things that stands out throughout the whole series is the Dragon Balls. So what I'm going to do is make from the number 7 Dragon Ball by using Seagram 7. So that's my main ingredient, because when you're creating these cocktails, you're going to think of something that's basing around the primary of the cocktail that everything's built around. This is my Dragon Ball, the number 7 Dragon Ball. Now I got to think of what I want to add to that to actually make it into a full cocktail. You want to add vodka. So there you go. Now you got your vodka and your rum, or your vodka and your whiskey. Now, let's say you want to make it orange, because the Dragon Balls are orange in color, so you may not want to get that. You want to get more of a citrus aspect to it. So you'll swap this out for your orange vodka. Now you got your orange vodka, and you have your Seagram 7. So this is your Dragon Ball. This is your main spirit. Well, secondary spirit, you have your main spirit here. So now you have your core base for this cocktail. Now you want to think of how you want to build upon it. Obviously, I'm using orange vodka, so I want to make this an orange flavored cocktail. So the main thing you want to do, add some orange juice. That's your base, or your main mixer for it. So now you got these 3 main ingredients. So you want to think of what else you want to add to it to help build it, make it a little bit more into like a Dragon Ball. What do they do with the Dragon Ball? Somebody dies, they want to bring them back. How do they find them? They hunt for them. So, Jaeger, Master Hunter. You're hunting for the Dragon Balls. You got your main flavor-wise to it. And there you have it. This is your baseline ingredients to creating a pop culture themed cocktail based off Dragon Ball. This is going to be called the Dragon Ball Z 7-star Dragon Ball. Now, to basically create the drink is you want to think of what your primary ingredient was, which is 7 Crown. But you want to make it orange. How to take this idea, keep with the orange color to it, but not take away from it flavor-wise. You want to add a little bit of Grenadine to help bring up that orange color, because orange juice is a little yellow, so you're taking yellow and you're taking red, you're kind of basically making orange. So now you want to think of what to add to this. I'm going to go with about 1 ounce of 7 Crown, because you figure it's your base. So most of your bases, what's designed after, it's usually going to be about 1 ounce. This isn't a hunter cocktail, so I'm not going with 1 ounce of that. But I'm staying with 1 ounce of this, because this is my primary. So we'll take 1 ounce of 7 Crown whiskey. And what I'm going to do is, since I'm using a juice, I want to do a shake and strain. Now, if I'm not using juice, if I just have, say, this, then I could just stir it over ice and do the same basic idea. But I'm not doing it that way. This is a shake and strain. And then you want to think of your secondary ingredient for your primary would be the orange vodka. So you want to do about the same 1 ounce of that. When you have a primary and a secondary for flavor, it's you usually want to try to keep equal, but whatever your primary is, that's one of your most flavors going to come out of. Now, the thing with Jagermeister, it's very potent. It's a high licorice flavor. It's something that's going to stand out a lot. I don't want to have this taste like licorice. So, this is one of the primary ingredients. It's not something I want to put that much in there. So, depending on what you're adding, say if you're doing a pop culture themed cocktail and one of your ingredients is lucid absinthe, but you don't want to have it be a licorice cocktail. Even though lucid absinthe may be one of your primary aspects of that cocktail, you can knock it down some and you can still get the concept of it being in there. You're going to taste it, it'll be, because that stuff just stands out no matter what you put in. Same thing with Jagermeister. Jagermeister will stand out no matter what it's in. But as long as it's in there, it keeps the theme. So you'll take about, I'm going to do about ½ ounce. So you add a little bit of flavor, but it's not going to be overabundance of that. Okay. So right now, with my different alcohols, I have 1 ounce, 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces. So now that I got 2.5 ounces, you add a mixer to that. You don't want to say put an ounce, because you're going to be tasting the alcohol above everything else. So you want to try and balance that out. So a good rule of thumb is try and keep either equal quantities if you want to try and mellow it out some. If you want it to be a very potent alcohol drink, then you would make it more to the alcohol side. If you want to make it more of a mellow drink, like say if you want to do a Tiki cocktail, you want to keep it more to the fruit flavored side or the mixer side. So that would be higher than your alcohol side would be. So this, I'm basically going to, it's kind of even. This is 2.5, so I'll put basically about 3 ounces. That's kind of a good number to use. And it should help balance out the multitude of flavor that's in there. Of course, obviously you get a little bit of an orange flavor with that, but that Jaeger is going to stand out, but you want to try and figure a way of balancing out the Jaeger taste. So, do about 3 ounces. Now, right now, that is to the point of orange, but I want to make it more orange. So I'm going to add a splash of grenadine. This isn't going to do much for flavor, it's just going to make it a little sweeter. A lot of times when using grenadine, it's more so just for color. Unless you're making Shirley Temple, it's not going to be your primary ingredient. So a splash, basically 1/4 ounce. Drop that. There we go. Now since it's a shake and strain, you want to add your ice. One thing also that I did forget to mention when creating cocktail, basically what you're putting in there. So obviously I did 1 ounce, 1 ounce, ½ ounce, splash, 3 ounces. So that's almost 6 ounces. You gotta think of quantities, like how big of a glass you're gonna need. Once you have your baseline idea of what you're doing for the cocktail, pick your glass. Obviously, this might be a little bit small, because I'm not sure the exact ounce. I can look it up, but you want to go with something like a highball, because you're going to have 6 ounces in there, so you want to basically have enough room for it. That's going to be over ice, so you figure ice is also going to take up a lot of that volume, so you want to kind of get it to balance out. So shake this up. And as you see, turned pretty good orange. Actually, don't smell bad. Just in fact, it's just made directly from that, right from my line. So you want to add some ice to your glass. There you go. The Dragon Ball Z 7-star Dragon Ball. Now you can kind of play with this a little bit. You can do that to keep it orange. Maybe add a splash more Grenadine just to make it look like it's a star in there. Because if you ever look at the Dragon Balls, it's this kind of yellowish orange ball with like a red star in there. So you can do that and it kind of gives you the same idea. I like this as is, so I'm leaving it that way. So that's basically how you create a pop culture themed cocktail. You have your main theme, Dragon Ball, sub theme, the Dragon Balls, your storyline, what makes it a Dragon Ball. You hunt for the Dragon Balls. This is the Dragon Ball. And that's me. And then you also have your flavoring and your color to it. So there's your Dragon Ball cocktail. Now let's say if you want to make a signature cocktail, a cocktail for a company. Like say if, for instance, I'm just going to say, get the stuff out of here. Say Blue Cherry Coconut Rum decide they want to sponsor you. They want you to create a cocktail for them. You obviously know it's a coconut rum. How you want to make that signature cocktail based off that. So what I'm doing is it's going to be a basic build style cocktail. So you think of coconut, you think tropical. So we want to add pineapple juice. There's some tropical flavors to it. How else you want to try and take that idea to make it something completely different so you can give it a name? Because you just have that and pineapple juice say it's a Blue Cherry coconut cocktail. You got to do something with it to make it what it is. So let's add some passion fruit. It's a tropical passion. There you go. You're getting a base of a name. Now you have that. You want to try and give it a bit more of a mixer to kind of blend it a little more. So let's add just a little bit of orange juice back into that. Help keep it tropical. And sometimes even just add some bitters. In this case I'm going with Elemakule, which I can never pronounce. Basically Tiki bitters. So you want to try and find a type of bitters that are going to help build this idea, in this case of a tropical environment. So I'm using Tiki bitters. Now, as you see, there's not much here. It's one main spirit, then you have your different flavors that go in there. When you're creating a signature cocktail for a company, you don't want to have it elaborate. When you're creating a pop culture themed cocktail, you can just put whatever you want in it. It'd be something that it's telling a story. Signature cocktails tell a story, but you want to have it so they could say, you say a bar, one of their primary coconut rums is Blue Cherry Bay, and they want to have this sponsored drink in their bar. You want to basically design something that that bar can make with different ingredients that they should be able to find. Bitters, they may just choose regular bitters. This they may be able to find. It's something, it's an idea. So now you can just basically see these are main ingredients. So you put it in, and you gotta think of your primary obviously is your Blue Cherry coconut rum, because that's the one you're sponsoring. So when you do that, you want to keep that with a higher concentration. So I'm gonna do about 2 ounces. And since this is a build cocktail, you want to add your ice first. Yeah. You got your base. And then you want to think of what makes it a passion, a tropical passion. You don't want to add much, say about ½ ounce. Just enough to get that flavor, but keep with the theme. There we go. Now you want to add your bitters. Let's say, because you're just basically doing this for a bit of tropical notes to it. I do about 3 drops. Just give it a little bit of flavor. Now since this is a build style cocktail, you have your base, your main core spirit with a couple different flavorings to it. You want to be able to make this so it's just, you build it, you give it to the customer. You don't want to sit there and stir and do this. So it's built in. There you go. So this you can just do a topper. So I'm going to top it with orange juice. And then you only splash orange juice. You don't want to do too much because your primary is your tropical flavor to it. So that's where I'm going to add the pineapple juice. And you just top it the rest of the way with your pineapple juice. There you have it. A tropical passion from Blue Cherry Bay Coconut Rum. It's a very simple cocktail. Any bar can make this. Most of them will have passion fruit. If they don't have passion fruit syrup, they can have maybe passion fruit juice. It's some ideas they can have, or something, even the mango passion fruit, something to help build that cocktail of an idea of a tropical environment. Now, as far as flavor, since it's a build style cocktail and you have all your main ingredients on the bottom, when you add the other stuff in, it'll help push your main ingredients up, helps blend it, but helps your main focus, which is the coconut rum, stand out. This is actually a very good cocktail. It's actually, I'm very surprised how they came out. This is definitely something that, if you can make it, try it. You'll love it. I actually really like that. Now, as far as this one, I made the Dragonball. A lot of the concept I had in there actually stayed pretty true. You have the idea of the hunter, so you have your Jagermeister. It doesn't stand out as much, which is the good thing, because I didn't want it to stand out. I barely taste the Jagermeister in there. The main thing I'm tasting is what I really wanted to have in there was orange. Because you have orange vodka, orange juice. That's one of the main things you're tasting. The whiskey, it's not something that's going to be potent, because you don't want this to be a whiskey cocktail. If you're making something that's it's based off the whiskey, then go with the whiskey idea. Go with the whiskey flavor. It's in a whiskey cocktail, but it's something that's in there. You'll taste a bit of the oakiness to it, not very potent. You know what's there though. But it's actually a really good cocktail. That's a very good cocktail. It's the coconut, the pineapple, the little bit of the Tiki bitters, the passion fruit syrup. It all blends together really well. This is just, as I said, these are 2 cocktails I just pulled out of my head to do for this video, and they're both really good cocktails. And this is something you can do yourself. You can just do basically what I did. You have an idea for a cocktail. You want to figure out what will go in that cocktail to help build your story. Once you have your story designed and built out, you have your cocktail. If you make it, you have all these different elements, and you're like, I don't taste that great. Figure what is too potent in there, what stands out the most that you don't want to be there, take that out or minimize it. Like say you're designing this one and you're like, you want to figure ounce. So you have like an ounce of Jagermeister, but you're like, man, it's too much Jaeger. I don't want the Jaeger to be that potent. Lower the Jaeger. Keep it in there just enough for the story, but lower it. If you add, say, too much whiskey, because you're saying your primary ingredient, your style is a 7-star dragon, so you say you want to do 2 ounces of whiskey, you notice, man, it's too much whiskey. Do I need to knock it down to an ounce, but enough to keep it in there, to keep the idea of the story, have it all be relevant to it, but go with what works best for you. Change your measurements, change your ingredients to a point, but still keep that idea that makes this cocktail what it is. Like this is a tropical passion because it's tropical flavors. You got coconut, you got your pineapple, you got your tiki bitters, orange. You know, orange juice is more just like Florida. It's just sunny, but you get the idea. And then you want to have your passion. These are your 2 primary ingredients. Your storyline is coming from the passion, but your flavor and your main tropical aspect is coming from the blue cherry berry coconut rum. So that's where that comes from, and then it's a very good cocktail. Change different things. If you notice you put too much orange juice, lower down next time, add a little more pineapple juice. You put too much pineapple juice, but you want more of a citrus aspect to it, lower the pineapple juice, but build up the orange juice. Change your ingredients as they go. Figure out what works best for you and what you feel is a very good cocktail. Once you feel it's a very good cocktail, then put it out there. Tell your friends. Put it on your blog. If you have a website like me, put it on your website. Promote it. Let people say, I just created this cocktail. You gotta try it. You gotta try these. These are very good cocktails. I definitely suggest you try these 2. This one is, I'm actually really surprised. That is good. And it's only 2 ounces of alcohol in the whole drink. It's not something that's overly potent. And that you can really enjoy. And you figure this is only about 26-25% alcohol. So it's not real high alcohol content. Yes, beers have alcohol in it, but you ain't gonna taste it. It's gonna be so watered down with those few drops, it's not even there. So it's a very good cocktail. You should try these. Create your own cocktails. Start posting to my site. Send them to me however you want them made. I'll just see if I can make them. I'll make them for a site. If I can't, I'll see what I can do to help promote your idea. But this is something I would love to see other people do. Create your own cocktails. Start just building upon your ideas. Use your creativity. It's fun. It's something that anybody could do. It doesn't even have to be alcoholic. You can buy different syrups. Like say you want to have the blue curacao, buy blue curacao syrup. Add that in there, do your different ingredients. Keep the basic idea. Just do what works best for you. I hope you enjoy these. Hope you learn something. I definitely enjoyed teaching how to make these cocktails, giving different ideas how to do them. And as always, drink responsibly. And definitely like us on Facebook /Spirit Cocktails. Definitely gotta go there and like our page on YouTube and drink responsibly.